My name is Jennifer Oliver. I'm an equine massage therapist, and depending on the discipline of your horse will depend on where they have a tendency to build tension. This isn't always the case, but it's generally a pretty good idea of where you're going to find tension on your horse. For instance, dressage horses have a tendency to be tense in their hind end because they have to compose themselves to do those big fancy movements while in the ring. This is Casper, and he is a Dutch warm blood, and he has a tendency to get a little bit stopped up in his traps here, which you can kind of see how they're a little bit bigger and harder, not quite as supple. Now massage will really work that, really get into that muscle there, and then by the end of the session it's a lot more pliable. And that really, what this does is, if this is tense, you run into a lot of horses that have this muscle that's tense and they have a harder time bending to one side or another. So if you ever notice that your horse is stiff to the left or to the right, it's normally due to this muscle here. And he's pretty good through the shoulders. Sometimes he stops up a little bit at the pecs. He's pretty good today. His back looks good. He's a dressage horse, so he naturally is going to just be a lot more tense in the hind end. And the way the hind end's a little bit harder because they're such big muscles for me to get into. So when you get into the hind end, you can tell he's a little bit tight in there. What you're going to do is just kind of pound the muscle just a little bit, really lightly. And what that does is help loosen everything up, so then you can get in there with different strokes and get into the really sore spots that he has in there. And you can tell when once I got right into his lower back and glutes, he really started paying attention to me. And that's what they do normally. When you get in through there, they really will start paying attention to when you hit a sore spot. And then you're going to see your hunter-jumper horses that have more tension in their shoulders and stifles from doing all of the jumping, landing on those front legs. Horses such as eventing horses that do the 3 days, they do the jumping, the dressage, and the cross country, they have a tendency to be sore everywhere because they do all 3 events. And equine massage can really make a very big difference in having these equine athletes perform at their top levels.